Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Take Note and Move Forward podcast show. I am your host, Notes from Wanda, your forgiveness coach and silence breaker. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope that you have been taking care of yourself. There has been some time that has passed since I recorded an episode for this podcast. That has been due to technical difficulties on my end, but I'm hoping that is resolved now and that I can move forward with each episode that I plan on doing from this moment on. So, the last episode of this podcast, I talked about moving forward from people and from relationships that are bringing you down and perhaps are keeping you from being the best person that you could be. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, please visit my website at notesforwanda.com/EP21. Again, it's notesforwanda.com/EP21. Today, I wanted to talk about trusting your gut and sticking to the decisions that you make for yourself. Sometimes we form a habit of looking back and turning back around and going back to the same old things that we are used to, or going back to the same old people that we are used to, because we're afraid to move forward, or maybe someone made us feel like we couldn't move on without them or without the things that they have placed in front of us. And I wanted to talk about trusting your guts and your instincts instead of going with the norm, instead of going with what everyone else may believe that you should do. And I understand that sometimes we need confirmation. We need to hear something from somebody else about what we should do. But the bottom line is, you need to trust your gut and your feelings. Pray about it. Write down a list of the pros and cons of the situation that you're trying to make a decision about, instead of sticking to the norm or listening to the first piece of advice that you get. You could be putting yourself in a situation where you're actually going to repeat the same mistake that you made before because you did not trust your gut. For example, sometimes when it comes to leaving a person, breaking up with a person, divorcing a person, we second guess the situation because maybe we believe that the person could change, or maybe we believe that we were judging the situation way too harsh and we were looking at it as if, there was more that we could do. There was something else that we could have done to save the situation. This happens with a lot of women that have been through any type of abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, rape, domestic violence, child molestation. Sometimes we lose our self-confidence, and therefore when it comes to making decisions, especially when it comes to a relationship or moving on to a different job, we second guess ourselves because we have become comfortable with what has already been placed in front of us. And sometimes it's because there is so much self-doubt that has been placed inside of us that we almost believe everything that we hear and see from other people. You have to keep in mind that what is for you is for you, and what is for somebody else is for somebody else. You may see that someone decided to go back and turn back around to be with a husband that once used to abuse them. And on the outside, it looks like they worked it out. So then it makes you believe that maybe I can work this out with the person that I was with, even though they were abusing me physically, mentally, or emotionally. You may believe that because that person was able, it may appear that person has been able to work it out. But think hard and think long before you turn back around and go back to the thing that hurt you, that nearly destroyed you, and pulled you apart from everything that you spent so much time building. Stop yourself before you turn back around. Learn to pray and stick with the decision that you feel deep down inside. And as I've said before, there are many ways that you can go about making a decision besides looking at someone else and what they decided to do, or listening to someone else, what may have worked for them. It may not work for you. Write down the pros and the cons about the situation. The other thing I wanted to talk about was learning to forgive yourself and save yourself. Sometimes we feel as if we're obligated to save everyone that walks into our life. Sometimes we feel like we don't have the right to give up on people because there's this guilt that we may have walked away too soon. But there comes a point in the time where you're going to have to decide between yourself and that person. And I will hope that most of us know by now, you need to save yourself. When it gets down to the point where you're literally losing yourself, you stop doing the things that you used to do that made you happy. You cut yourself off from a lot of people. You don't socialize anymore. Or maybe you just stop trying to accomplish the goals that you set out to finish, before the end of this year, the end of this month, or within 2 years or 5 years. You just stop. Because you're so anxious to save another person that's involved in your life. And you feel that it's the right thing to do. And you feel like you don't have the right to be selfish. So you compromise yourself to try to save someone else. Stop trying to rescue people that do not want to be saved, and save yourself. Because what you're doing at this point in time is, on top of going against your instincts and the true feeling that you're feeling deep down inside, you're not only going against that, you're going against the love that you have deep down inside of yourself. You're going against everything that you stand for as a woman, as a person that could have more power over the decisions that you make. But because you're too busy rescuing everyone else, you let yourself go and you let yourself down. I'm here to tell you that it's okay to be selfish when it comes to letting go of negative things and negative people that is not going to change. And as I mentioned before in the last episode of my podcast, these negative things are not always so they're not just standing out there. It may not be a decision to walk away from a person that's physically abusing you, but maybe it's a person that has bad habits. The thing of the matter is, there's no judgment on my end as far as people who choose to smoke and drink. But if that's all you do, and that's all you wake up to do is smoke and drink, you might want to think twice about what you're living for and what you're standing for. And if you come in contact with these kind of people and choose to be around these people, it can change your atmosphere. It can change the way you feel about yourself because they wake up and literally live every day to smoke, to drink, to get high, to numb themselves from whatever they're running from. And because you feel like, there's more work to be done for you to help this person, you put up with it. But what you're not recognizing is that the behavior of this person is changing the atmosphere in your household. This is changing your thoughts. This is also bringing a lot of negative into your life It's making it almost next to impossible for you to move forward with that next step. That next step of accomplishing a goal, that next step of, putting something together to form a business, to ask for a raise in your job. Things that are so simple, but it seems so complicated because there's too much negative going on around you. Substance abuse is dangerous, and nowadays it has become the norm. And if you read my book, They Said That I Wouldn't Make It, but Here I Am, you know the kind of craziness that I took myself through trying to avoid my problems. So no matter who walked into my life, they were not able to save me because I was so stuck on numbing myself from feeling the pain, from feeling the hurt. I was running from everything and everyone that ever tried to help me. So there was no rescuing me. So this just does not go for, women who are trying to rescue men. This goes for women who are running away from their problems too. And if you are one of those people who are doing, just causing so much damage towards yourself, it's time for you to wake up and recognize what could happen to you versus what's happening to you right now. I don't know about you, and I don't know what it may have took for you to change your life, but for me, it took me hitting a brick wall after driving all night and drinking and nearly lost my life and my daughter. And it shouldn't have came to that because it could have went it could have changed. It could have went the opposite way. I could have died and not lived to tell my story or write about my story. So this is what I mean when I say save yourself. Save yourself from the harm that some other people are causing towards you or the harm that they're doing to themselves and is rubbing off on you because you're choosing not to walk away. Save yourself from the substance abuse, the overeating, and neglecting the true issue that's going on deep down inside of you. This is part of the changes that you need to make in order to start trusting yourself more, to believe in yourself more. That way you're able to make a decision about what you need to walk away from, and you actually will be able to stick to it and walk away from the negative things, change your life around. You gain all of your self-confidence back when you walk away from things and people that are building more and more toxic energy around you than what is worth to put up with. So take a look at that. My theme for everyone today is to recognize when you're actually doing more for others versus what you're doing for yourself. I want you to start looking at what's going on around you and how much are you doing for others versus what you're doing for yourself. You're no good to others if you cannot take care of yourself. You're no good to your children, your spouse, your family, your mother, your father, your sisters, or people who simply just want to conversate with you from time to time. If you're not able to put back what you need to put, what you have put into other people, and you're actually draining more out than putting more stuff back into yourself, it's time for you to take a time out, reevaluate, and make some decisions. So I thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today, and I hope that you tune in to the next episode. If you haven't already done so, please purchase a copy of my book today. The name of the book is called They Said That I Wouldn't Make It, but Here I Am. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and also it's available through ebook on Kindle. Sorry about that. But yes, it is available Kindle, Barnes and Noble, and Amazon. And I hope you did make a decision to purchase a copy today. It's a powerful story about forgiveness and healing and how you can make it after the pain and the suffering. There is life after rape, domestic violence, and or child molestation. Don't let your past hold you down. Don't allow your past to become your anchor. Thank you so much, you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And if you're not already doing so, please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notes from Wanda. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Take Note, Move Forward. Take care, you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.